Welcome to Peace Drops for the Great Green Wall for January 2024. My name is John Dirito and I'm based in Soweto, Johannesburg in South Africa. And I will be introducing and concluding this month's Peace Drops. The Great Green Wall is an ambitious project seeking to restore ecosystems and landscapes across the Sahel region of Africa that stretches 8,000 kilometers from Senegal to Djibouti. This region has been impacted severely by climate change and climatic extremes, including droughts and floods, have led to crop failure, degradation of the ecosystems, and disruption of communities. This has fueled conflicts and lots of migration of very resourceful members of those communities to other regions. And the Great Green Wall project seeks to establish a mosaic of ecosystems over an area of 100 million hectares that will improve food security, create sustainable socio-economic conditions in the region, and this will then revitalize the communities and help restore peace and well-being and minimize migration from the region. And it's also envisaged that the collective ecosystems of the Great Green Wall will act as a massive vegetation carbon sink to mitigate climate change. So the Great Green Wall started in 2007, and at this point about 18% of the project has been completed, and with a target of achieving the 100 million hectares restoration by 2030. A lot of resources and very well considered collaboration and coordination is required of all the stakeholders involved. And as a contribution to this initiative, Peace Drops for the Great Green Wall was launched in June 2022 by the Brahma Kumaris Environment Initiative. And Peace Drops seeks to highlight and enhance the role that the universal inner values that we have as human beings act or contribute towards the success of the Great Green Wall. Therefore, Peace Drops is an inspiration to everyone involved to refine and to engage their inner resources of spirit as they carry out the restorative activities of the Great Green Wall. So for this month, January 2024, we will be focusing on two values, newness and dedication. Dr. Grace Lopez Charles will provide a meditation on newness, and Dr. David Fletcher will provide a reflection on dedication. So in addition to that, for this month, Peace Drops will also feature a large forest gardens project being undertaken in Senegal as part of the Great Green Wall. So this project is being carried out by the local communities in collaboration with Trees for the Future, which is a global NPO that trains farmers in agroforestry and sustainable land use, and Planet Wild, a global community of individuals that is working towards restoration of nature. So, welcome to Peace Drops for the Great Green Wall for this month. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Greetings. Let's take the next few minutes to focus on the virtue of dedication. Find a spot away from other distractions Sit comfortably, and let's begin by taking a few deep breaths. Breathe in, rest, breathe out, rest, breathe in, rest, breathe out, rest. It's always surprising to me how unconscious we can be of our own breathing. It's natural, it's easy, so we often take it for granted. Yet our breathing can be very shallow. It can only exchange a small part of air in our lungs. It can become difficult or labored if we are sick or engage in strenuous activity. Yet we should be the ones who are in control of our breathing. We all know the benefits of a few slow, conscious, deep breaths. It replenishes oxygen. It calms us down. It energizes every cell in our body, and it puts us back in control. Let's take a few more deep breaths now, in time with these images. It's a small thing, but it does take some dedication to be conscious of our breathing, to take maximum benefit from it. In the same way, dedication is important in all small things and also in big things that are spread out over a long period of time. To contribute to a huge project like the Great Green Wall takes dedication. To change the way experts have told us to farm takes dedication. To create forest gardens and be concerned with soil, wind, shade, water, seeds, food production, habitats for ourselves and other species takes dedication. To plant a variety of trees, promote local ownership, be concerned with community benefit for this generation and the next generation and the next generation, all takes dedication. It sometimes takes years to make a change, for trees to grow, for biodiversity to return, and it is only our own dedicated efforts, sustained over time, that will ensure the benefits. More diversity will provide more resilience and more sustainability. Nature will take care of itself. Sometimes our dedication needs to be to step aside and be patient and not try to force things that take time to happen. We need to be dedicated to valuing time and effort, to resist any forms of inertia or inaction, and at the same time, committing to the long haul and being conscious of the long-term dedicated efforts that will be needed to achieve change. We can't expect instant results, but like breathing, we need to be consciously aware that our sustained efforts will make a difference. I've heard that in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, the Tembo people have a saying, Owirawaya Aliyi Atama, meaning your honest and dedicated efforts mean that you will always receive nourishment for your body, your mind, and your spirit. Dedication to a cause or to a change is so important. Think of a time you made a promise to yourself. You dedicated yourself to something, no matter how small or how large. What helped you stay on track? What helped you keep that promise? What were the benefits of your dedication? What was it that kept you dedicated? Was it something external or something internal? Often we can be most dedicated to a commitment we make to ourselves and a commitment that resonates with our belief in the divine and the power of the divine. Think of something now you want to do more of for your own well-being, something you want to dedicate yourself to. It may be something in your actions, in your words, or in your thoughts. Something you want to do more of for the well-being of your body, your mind, or your spirit. If you can be dedicated in your thoughts to make them stronger, more positive, more peaceful, more cooperative, then your words and actions will follow. If you dedicate your thoughts and yourself to reduce or retire certain negative or waste thoughts, you'll release more energy. If you dedicate yourself to replace old ways of thinking and renew your thoughts towards positive change, you will slowly and sometimes magically see renewal occurring in your life. It takes conscious dedication, just as when we breathe. That dedicated focus, even for a couple minutes, provides us with the quiet power we need to act in the world. Decide what you're going to dedicate yourself to for your own well-being and for your contribution to community efforts such as tree planting and the Great Green Wall. And know that your dedicated efforts will contribute to a positive, collective impact in the world. And that each time you take a breath, remind yourself of the value of your time and effort in making the world and your life more peaceful and powerful. With each breath, more peaceful and powerful. Om Shanti.
There is a genius approach to tree planting that could literally change the world. So-called forest gardens are a natural solution to overcome poverty, drought, and desertification. And it's already being implemented by thousands of farmers in Senegal right now. These forests are not like any you have seen before. They mix trees with fruits and vegetables to create a biodiversity paradise. Naturally, we wanted to help, so we partnered with Trees for the Future to plant 40,000 trees and turn this barren land into these beautiful forest gardens that provide food to families, create a habitat to countless animals, and bring life to the wider ecosystem. How wide? Our trees are part of the Great Green Wall, an ambitious project to create a forest frontier all across sub-Saharan Africa. This wall of trees could stop further desert expansion, combat climate change, and even overcome poverty. Let's zoom in to show you how it's done and how the power of tree planting turned this into this. We're Planet Wild. Welcome to Mission 9. This is Senegal, home to 17 million people and a plethora of fascinating wildlife, from the tiniest insects to the most colorful and curious species, all the way up the food chain to some of the largest and most iconic mammals on the planet. And one way or the other, all of them depend on trees for a functioning ecosystem. Now, Senegal sits right in the Earth's tropical zone, where an abundance of sunlight can supercharge tree growth like in no other part of the globe. But in Senegal's tropical south, the landscape is red rather than green. Deforestation and unsustainable agriculture have degraded the soil in many places. To make things worse, the dry season here lasts a full 9 months, during which hardly anything grows, putting stress on wildlife and local families alike.
Les familles d'ici ont de petites parcelles. Durant la contre-saison, ils ne peuvent pas cultiver beaucoup. Beaucoup ont besoin de quitter leur village pour aller en ville, pour chercher du travail, alors que c'est ici leur maison.
We're here with Fatoumata from Trees for the Future, our partner organization in Senegal, who have developed an amazing concept to turn the land green again, all year round. And this is how it all starts. Before we dive into the story, let me quickly tell you who we are. Planet Wild is a global rewilding community that anyone can join to help restore our planet through monthly missions like this one. If you want to give back to nature, consider joining Planet Wild as a backer and help make our planet a little wilder for as little as $6 a month. And if you join today, I guarantee that you will support your first rewilding mission within the next 30 days. There's a link in the description. Now, back to the video. Planting trees is one of the most important things we can do to fix our planet. Want to prevent soil erosion? Trees. Capture CO2? Trees. Create habitat, provide shade, retain water? That's right, trees. Of course, we've all heard a lot about tree planting lately. There's been somewhat of a tree planting hype even, and many people are trying to cut corners. I've looked at a lot of tree planting initiatives over the past years. If I learned anything, it's that just putting a seedling in the ground is not going to cut it. If you want to do tree planting right, there's a few crucial things that you need to look for. Number 1. To boost biodiversity, make sure you plant a variety of tree species, no monocultures. Number 2, for an equitable process, it's important that the planting sites are owned by locals, ideally smallholders or family farms. Number 3, to make sure the forests you plant will still stand in 100 years, it needs to create a real community benefit. A forest that is more valuable standing than cut down for fuel will be protected for generations. And finally, number 4, for the biggest effect on planetary health, you want to be planting in the tropical zone. That's why we're here. We partnered with Trees for the Future because they're doing all of the above in a truly amazing way. Working with thousands of small family farms, they created a 4-year training program to empower farmers like Fatou to transform their arid land into fertile forest gardens that can feed their families and turn the land green year-round.
ci yan anam ñun heure bii daawul woon am dara te léegi loolu ren ñun amul daaw ba ren ñun boobu ba léegi defatuñu loolu.
And the best part, all of this is done without any chemical fertilizer or pesticides, 100% organic and circular through a fascinating technique called permaculture. Permaculture is kind of the opposite to the monoculture of forests and fields that many of us have gotten so used to. There's a reason why nature doesn't look like that. It's because the more diversity there is in an ecosystem, the more resilient it will naturally become, as different plants provide nutrients, water, shade, and shelter to each other. And that's why in permaculture, trees, shrubs, vegetables, fruits, and grains are all planted together. Here in Senegal, it all starts by planting a variety of dense and fast-growing pioneer trees around a plot of land to create protection from wind, sun, and storms for other plants to follow. This is called a living fence. Next, you place nitrogen-fixing trees at specific distances to make the soil fertile. Then you add fruit and nut trees, as well as vines and shrubs that all together create a cover of shade for the remaining topsoil. These papaya trees are only 2 years old and already 5 to 6 meters high. That is the power of the tropical sun. They now create a beautiful tree cover to create shade for other crops that can be planted underneath them. And instead of pesticides, herbs like mint, basil, or lemongrass are used for their antifungal and pest-deterring properties. The word perma refers to the idea that a garden planted this way is enduring or permanent. Here in Senegal, that means it is not just harvested once during the rainy season, but can produce food all year round, as I learned from Abdoulaye, who just a few years ago was about to give up his farm as almost nothing grew. Today, he has fruit all year round and even gives banana trees to his neighbors. Another crucial part of permaculture is that it focuses on perennial plants. Those are plants that naturally come back year after year. That means there's no need for the annual plowing cycle, which destroys microorganisms that make the soil fertile and then leads to a dependence on chemical fertilizer. Permaculture instead relies on the natural processes of the land, allowing nature to take care of itself. And as a result, it also takes care of us in many ways. Abdoulaye's food forest doesn't only feed his family, it has also become a beautiful place for everyone to enjoy and spend their free time together. And while the know-how is already here and the work is in the hands of each and every farmer, the Planet Wild community is contributing as well by funding a total of 40,000 trees to be planted and help rapidly expand the green cover of food forests here in Senegal. We're here during the rainy season, the perfect time for tree planting. And I was kindly invited to plant some mango trees on behalf of our community and got to learn how it's done. To help us better understand all of the things that are going on in these forest gardens and to share what we are learning with an even wider audience, we brought a special visitor with us. Andrew Millison is a veteran permaculture educator. He runs the #1 permaculture channel on YouTube and teaches permaculture design at Oregon State University.
Trees are such an incredibly beneficial part to any kind of agricultural system. We've got trees that are providing nitrogen fixation. The trees are creating a microclimate that reduces the amount of water needs. They're dropping their leaf litter that improves the soil. The trees are providing wind protection from strong storms that might blow through here. The trees are providing habitat for birds, for insects, for all types of species. I mean, just listen for a minute. Right? So this is really an example of an agricultural system that is supporting the wild ecosystem.
Seeing all of these biodiversity benefits, we wanted to do even more.
It's mind-blowing the amount of benefits that we get from the trees, and it's also mind-blowing the amount of tree diversity here, the variety of fruits. So before the project, if the rains failed or if there was some extreme rain event, they would lose their crop. I mean, they would go into poverty, into malnutrition very quickly. This tree infrastructure is providing yields throughout the year. So you could have a crop failure in one of the tree species, but there's 10 more tree species that are providing food. So it really provides true food security.
Andrew actually did a whole sister video on this mission, where he takes a deep dive into some of the permaculture aspects. Overall, we planted over 50 different tree species, which will support another 50 species of shrubs, crops, and vegetables. And the effect on the community has been incredible. Like for the Dianco family, that until recently had to skip meals regularly for a lack of food. Now that has completely changed. They can even sell fruits on the market and generate enough income to buy much needed medicine, which was not possible before. Or for Mustafa, who had to leave his family's land and move to the city, where even after he finished university, he wasn't able to find work. Now he could return because the land is providing for his family, and he's so successful that he's actually expanding his farm. There are literally thousands of stories like this. Farmers who can use the extra income to send their kids to school or to start businesses, who are independent from buying crops and seeds elsewhere and have become fully self-sustaining.
Fii ba suñu seti setaat dañ ci el di jëriñu ndax defal nañu loo xam ne te yii bu ñu màggee ñun suñu doom yi ba suñu set yi ba setaat yëpp dañ ciy jëriñu.
With the trees provided by our community, we are helping hundreds of families to revitalize their degraded lands through the forest garden approach, increasing their income on average by 400% while boosting biodiversity in the wider region. What this mission shows is the importance of finding alignment between local ecosystems and those of us that inhabit them. Our existence in the world will become sustainable once we understand how to work with nature rather than against it. Senegal's food forests are literally a living and growing proof of that. You too can make our planet a little wilder by joining Planet Wild as a backer. Together we can bring back endangered species, clean up our oceans and rewild entire landscapes. Our members can vote on how we spend the money, connect with me and others on our Discord, and see their impact in the Planet Wild app and in videos just like this one. And of course, a big thank you goes out to all our existing Planet Wild members for making any of this happen. You've just unlocked the new Forest Garden badge in our app. Well deserved.
I prepare myself to reflect on all the things that enriched my life. I focus my attention on keeping my mind and intellect calm and clear. I relax and slip into quiet solitude, turning my attention within. In silence, I awaken the consciousness of all that I am. I, the soul, am connected to my truth. I am light. I am peace. I am love. I am bliss. For the next few minutes, I allow my natural nature to emerge. I feel the radiance of my divine light spreading through my entire body, radiating outwards into the world, enriching the atmosphere around me, and dispelling the darkness and lightening the environment. In my form of light, I am able to enrich the lives of those around me, as well as the atmosphere. I am peace, a peaceful being of light. I feel peace in my vision, in my attitude, in my words, and in my actions. My peace has the power to enrich the vision, attitude, words, and actions of everyone, not just those around me, but the whole world in general. I am love, a peaceful being of love and light. I allow the love light to shine through and from me, enriching the earth, the soil, the foliage are all coming back to life with the light of love. Back from the barren lands of the Sahel and the desert, arid lands throughout the world, to a thriving ecosystem. I am bliss. I am blissful. I am peaceful. I am loveful. The light of bliss is radiating from me, enriching the awareness of the souls of the world, building hope and well-being to those experiencing despair, hopelessness, and anxiety. The light of bliss is an enriching element to the quality of the plant and animal life. They bloom and thrive with the happiness of the soul. Consciously, I allow blissful, peaceful, loveful vibrations to radiate out to the souls who are working towards building the Sahel into a livable, viable area once more. As I return my attention back to this moment, back to now, I pledge to allow my natural nature to be an enriching force for the world.
Thank you very much for being part of Peace Drops for the Great Green Wall for January 2024. Hopefully, Peace Drops has inspired you with some newness for the year, and also heightened your dedication for some of the activities you are planning for this year. Yes, the feature on the forest gardening project ongoing in Senegal clearly shows the remarkable success we can achieve when we recognize and utilize the synergies that exist between humans and nature, and between humans and other humans, and also within nature itself. And hopefully this has deepen your hope for the Great Green Wall and for the global restoration of our natural ecosystems and sustainable living. So all the best, and hope to see you in our next Peace Drops in 4 weeks' time. So thank you very much.